Harry, I think we all know where we've got to start here. Let's talk about your accident last time out. I mean, obviously quite a big hit, and you're here at the next round, back on the bike, so amazing to see you here and well.
Yeah, so I was going into the final corner at Landau, and I went in and my brakes failed. So I was trying to slow it down with the back brake and go down all the gears, but I didn't have enough space and hit a tyre wall and got knocked out, and then got airlifted to hospital. And
well, I mean, it's obviously a big effort for you to be back at the circuit, you know, so soon. And I mean, I heard you sat some school exams the week after as well. So I mean, it's great to have you back. And how are you feeling? Are you confident back on the bike again?
Yeah, I'm still a bit nervous about the brakes, and as if I feel like I'm still using the same brakes. I'm almost nervous if I trust them.
Yeah, and are you just kind of looking to use this round as a way to kind of get back onto the bike and get back into the groove? Are you ready to start competing again right at the front?
Yeah, this round it's already been quite challenging for me, as I've already had a big crash, so I'm still trying to sort of recover from two crashes.
Well, thank you very much, Harry, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
So here with Hayden WIGHTMAN in the 70s category. Hayden, it's a beautifully sunny weekend here at the Ellough Park circuit. How are you feeling, looking forward to it?
I'm really excited because I'm just trying to, you know, catch up with everyone else, because it's my first season and I'm just trying to, you know, move up, because I started off getting lapped and now I'm just working towards staying with the pack, and I'm just excited.
And I mean, obviously, as you said, it's your first season. How has it been so far here at FAB? Obviously, this being round 3, you know, it's been, you know, it's still quite early on, but you know, you've really made some real progress in that short time.
Yeah, I really like it because like everyone's really social, like everyone's friends, but I'm really enjoying because all of the other riders in the class, they're all trying to help me. They're helping me with lines. They're letting me follow them around, and it's just, everyone's really nice and helpful, and it's just helping me develop.
And how do you feel on the bike as well? Do you feel like you're getting more used to the bike with each passing race?
Yeah, because at round 1 I wasn't really comfortable on it. Like, I didn't really trust it, but now I feel like I can trust like the tyres, and I can lean down more, and I'm just going way faster.
And what's your goal by the end of the season? Are you trying to be, you know, winning races on podiums, or just finishing strongly?
Well, we're kind of just using all the rounds to prepare for Lydden Hill, because that's my home round. But yeah, I'm hoping to, like, you know, be like middle of the pack maybe. Like, I'm not shooting my hopes too high, but I want to be in the mix of all the races.
Yeah, that's you know, always set your bar low, so you know, you can be excited when you exceed it. Thanks so much, Hayden, and best of luck for this weekend.
Thank you.
So Henry, how are you feeling towards this round?
Well, it's a really good track for me. I feel really confident around this track, and to be honest, in practice I was always up there, so right now I have a good feeling about this round.
Yeah, how's your feeling for the bike?
The bike's really good. It feels really stable around this track, and it just feels like the best bike it's ever been.
Yeah, you had a good round in Landau. Are you looking towards the same results this weekend, or maybe something better?
Maybe a win or two.
Certainly, I think you have the pace for it. Good luck this weekend.
Cheers.
Well, we're here with our reigning GP70 champ, Ethan Sparks. Ethan, round 3 of the championship, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to win in this race today.
Well, that's awesome. Of course, you've had some bad luck, unfortunately, this season. It's a bit close between you and Ronnie HARRIS at the top of the championship. Obviously, you're already a champion in the 70s. Do you feel like you can use that experience and use that confidence, you know, take back the championship lead here?
Yeah, I think if I get a gap in the start of the race and just pull and pull and pull, and then I have a chance of winning.
Yeah. How's the bike feeling coming into this weekend as well? I know you've struggled at a lid, for example. I know you were struggling with the front end of the bike. Is that all sorted now?
Yeah, it was a problem with the suspension where it had too much preload, so it's lifting up when I was, and then tucking the front, but now it's all fixed.
Now, is Ellough a track you're particularly fond of? Obviously, a very big circuit, very physical circuit. Do you think you can run well here?
Yeah, there's a high chance I can, but it'll still be difficult.
Well, awesome. Well, best of luck this weekend, Ethan, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Racing. It's time, everybody, for the big one. It's time for the Premier Class here at all of the of all of the classes here in FAB-Racing. It is time, of course, for the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship, and I've been joined by a very special guest here up in the commentary booth. Why didn't you want to introduce her? I've been joined by Mini Rossi, who a corner is actually named after you here. Found at Lid, of course, he was struggling with his class. It will be, however, Henry McCARTNEY starting from the pole position. That is a name I don't think anybody expected to see on the pole. It was all sparks. And Ronnie HARRIS, it seemed on paper, as Henry McCARTNEY. Sparks starts from P2, Ruben BRAY in P3 with Marco HOLT in P4. Ronnie HARRIS, championship leader, starts in P5. Not the best result that he would have wanted. I'm sure he'll be finding his way through. Blake Wilson is in P6 with Wilson DILKS in P7. Joshua Williams is P8. Samuel Munson is 9th with Luke FITCHETT rounding out the top 10. Then there's Ollie SIMS in 11th, Harry PAINE in 12th, Noah GUILLERY in 14th, and Hayden WIGHTMAN rounding out the grid. Now, Mini, of course, you've had some experience here with FAB. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you know about the 70s as well? You know, obviously it's a big grid full of talented riders. You know, I'm sure we're expecting to see a great race here today.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in this race, and everyone does really well all the time. So the race could go either way.
Oh, it absolutely could. And as the riders making their final preparations now, we're all ready to get going. Henry McCARTNEY from the pole position, his first pole this season. Alongside him, your reigning champion from 2021, Ethan Sparks, of course, winning it in that championship throwdown, that three-way championship throwdown at Clandale, the final round of last season. And championship leader Ronnie HARRIS down in P5. He's got a lot of work to do in all three races this weekend. But it's time for the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. All the riders on the grid are ready. The last checks being made by the marshals. It's time for race one of the most prestigious class of the weekend. The lights, come on! It's lights out, we're underway. It's a great start from McCartney. It's also a fantastic start from Marco HOLT. He squeezed up the inside. Marco HOLT to the lead in turn one through Degner 1. It's a brilliant start from Marco HOLT. He slides through. I believe he's being followed by that is Ethan Sparks in P2. So great start from Marco HOLT. Ethan Sparks in P2 as well. Ronnie HARRIS already up to P4 as well, it would seem. So great start from a few riders out there, but it's Marco HOLT in the Minion helmet leading the way with a fantastic start there. As they head down through the back end of the circuit, it's still Marco HOLT. Some riders perhaps challenging for positions. Ethan Sparks as well behind them on that Visiontrack bike. He's looking for a move down the inside into Won't, but unable to make the gap of it. And already Ethan Sparks is setting his sight on the lead. He knows that he's got the pace. Marco HOLT started behind him on the grid. Ethan Sparks to the inside, down the front stretch. Can he make a move into Degner 1? No, he cannot. Ethan Sparks has to settle for second for the time being. He's got a lot of pace on board. Marco HOLT there, of course, the fastest lap on the opening lap. But Ethan Sparks looking very, very pacey indeed. And the Mini GP lap record of 48.344. We have to see something that starts. And Mini, I've got a little bit of stat for you here. I was doing my research the other day. Don't be too nervous, don't worry. And one of the things I noticed is that every time that FAB has come to Ellough Park, the overall winner from the weekend, the rider that comes away from the weekend with the most points in this class has gone on to win the championship. I mean, obviously we haven't been here that many times, only a couple of times across the year, so it's perhaps not the most important statistic, but surely do you think that's playing in the minds of the riders, you know, as they're going about their business in this race? Surely, you know, they're all thinking, just that pure little statistic, as we see there, Sparks having a look down the inside and able to make the move, but surely that little statistic just playing in the mind, maybe some mind games from some of the riders here this weekend.
Yeah, no, maybe. Really anything can happen. All of these riders are great at everything they do, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Do you care to explain to me in the audience time why there's a corner here named after you? Because I have no idea, to be brutally honest with you. It must be a bit of a privilege.
Quite a while ago was my first time here, and I just got on really well, and I really liked the track. This is my home track, so I come here a lot, and Ella just... I don't really know, because my dad owns my account, like Mini Rossi account, but they sent a message to my dad and was like, you know, then they just sponsored me.
That's all right for some.
And then, like, maybe a year later, they just decided to name a corner after me.
Wow. Well, there you go.
I don't really know how.
That's a very nice privilege. Well, congratulations for having a corner named after you. It's not a privilege all of us are lucky to have. 9 laps to go. Unfortunately, Luke Fitchett having a mechanical issue. He's pulled into the pits to seemingly retire unless they can sort the bike out. And, well, one rider that I really want to make a shout out to is the rider currently in P12, Harry PAINE. Of course, I think this was inevitable that we were going to bring it up, but Harry PAINE, maybe we'll have to talk about it in a minute because Ethan Sparks looking to the inside. And Marco Holt again, though, Holt unable to make his way through. Marco Holt is putting up a stoic defence in the lead. We know he's a super defensive driver. He knows exactly where to place the bike on the racetrack, and we've got this train of 5 riders behind him. Sparks clearly has the pace, but at the moment it is Marco Holt leading the way. 48.4 is last time out. We're getting pretty close to the lap record, but as I was saying, Harry PAINE, as Luke Fitchett has luckily rejoined the race. Harry PAINE, of course, if you weren't watching last time out at Clandau, involved in a horrific accident. Oh my goodness me, Holt closing the door at the very last minute. And maybe we'll talk about Harry PAINE in a minute, because I get the feeling that Marco Holt might be challenging for the lead this time by once again. Yes, he's got a great run coming out of last corner, looking to the inside of turn 1. No, again, he can't make the gap a bit. Henry McCARTNEY, a new lap record of 48.146, takes away the title that Ronnie Harris got last year. So a new lap record for Henry McCARTNEY in the process. These front 5 bikes, there's a rider off there, off the road. That's, I believe, I'm not entirely sure who that is, unfortunately. That's there you go, that's Wilson DILKS. Thank you, Minnie. As goes off the bike. Ooh, that's a pretty nasty accident. Yellow flags out, but up the front, we've still got this 3-way fight. Oh no, a big accident in the background. That's Wilson and Harris down in the background, tumbling over each other. Holt runs wide through the penultimate corner as well. This is a great opportunity for Sparks, as that's championship leader Ronnie Harris down off the bike. We've got yellow flags out, so Ethan Sparks isn't allowed to overtake because of the yellow flags that we've got out. It's Ronnie Harris and I believe that was Blake Wilson getting involved with each other, tangling bikes, and both riders out of this race. But Ethan Sparks still challenging for the lead. Ethan Sparks to the inside, and they make contact. Ethan Sparks goes through, and Marco Holt. Ethan Sparks to the lead of the race with a great move, a bit of a bump past. He gets the move done just before the yellow flags out as well, but Marco Holt challenges the inside. He can't do that round there. He's going to have to give that position back if he gets through. No, Ethan Sparks, but Marco Holt again to the inside. Oh, Marco Holt's not taking no for an answer. He's still looking. Sparks defending the whole way round, and while this is happening, Henry McCartney behind them is giving it a good old go. It's still Ethan Sparks that leads this race. The yellow flags are still out. Oh, that was almost very naughty by Marco. You are not allowed to overtake under yellow flag conditions, but that was a super move from Ethan Sparks. I mean, up the inside, a little bit of a bump past Marco as well to shift him out of the way. Brilliant stuff from your reigning champion.
Yeah, that was a great pass. He did really well.
Yeah, it was awesome stuff, and he still leads this race with 5 to go. I'm now going to try and talk about Harry PAINE, because I would like to. But this race, again, Sparks pulling a little bit of a gap, but again, the 70s, always action all over the circuit as we're getting through. But let's talk about Harry PAINE. Of course, if you are not aware, the rider currently in P9, Harry PAINE, had a horrific accident, a brake failure at the fastest part of the Clandau circuit, knocked unconscious, airlifted to hospital, had concussion, a bit battered and bruised around as well. As we see it, that's Marco Holt now, another lap record for Marco Holt of 47.935. So Marco Holt there, a huge lap record, as he's already got a lap record at Lid this season. But Harry PAINE, so a massive accident, was hospitalised, he was really well. Went into school later that week to sit an SAT exam, bear in mind, and at the very next round, he's back on the bike and racing. So Harry PAINE, on that number 11 bike, has done an absolutely phenomenal job. As Marco Holt there, the new lap record gets confirmed now that he's chasing Ethan Sparks. But of course, it is great to see such a fantastic performance being put in by Harry PAINE on his return to FAB. Always we got a rider down there, the number 7, that's Luke Fitchett. So Luke Fitchett, after those mechanical issues, has gone down. So not quite Luke Fitchett's day, it would seem so far. Ethan Sparks now, I believe, has just set... Ethan Sparks now has the lap record of 47.881. So the front two trading lap records with 3 laps to go. And I mean, this is an absolutely phenomenal race that we've had on our hands. This three-way fight for the lead. Holt and Sparks leaving nothing on the line. McCartney, I think he's just waiting for them to have an accident at this point, because they're so close together, fighting all the time for the lead of the race. Sparks, was a little bit delayed coming out of the final corner, but Holt had a big wobble coming through last corner and almost went down. I think he lost the front of the bike, as he came through last corner. That could have been huge. And these two are absolutely on it the entire. They are neck and neck the entire way with 1.5 laps to go. This could be anybody's race.
Yeah, it literally could. Everyone's doing so well, and just could be anyone.
It absolutely could, but it's reigning champion Ethan Sparks that is leading the way. There you go, a new lap record confirmed, 47.881 for Ethan Sparks. He's coming down into the final section now for the penultimate time, into the Warrington hairpin, as Holt still chasing, Holt still pushing McCartney. They're coming up to some lap traffic as well. We saw in the rookies race just a moment ago, the lap traffic can mean so much. It can change the race so much. It's so narrow, there's no space to get through, and Sparks getting held up. Oh my goodness me, Holt's managed to get through as well, so they look like they're through okay. The final lap of the race, it is Ethan Sparks from Holt. McCartney has been held up. He's fallen out of contention for this win. He's going to have to settle for third. Marco Holt, though, we know that he's not going to take Separatante. He's going to push until the very line. Sparks, though, he's got that champion mentality. He's already won the championship last year. He's cool. He's collected. Here comes Marco Holt looking to the inside. Maybe Ethan Sparks, still defending front end of the bike, picks up, coming into the final section. This is the last real overtaking opportunity for Marco Holt. It passes by. So unless Marco Holt can pull off some magic, he's got a great run out of the penultimate corner, but it will be Ethan Sparks winning race 1 of the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. Oh my goodness me, what a race. Respect between the two riders at the front. Despite that contact between them, no bad blood. That is racing after all, if nothing but a bit of rubbing. Oh, what a race we've just seen. It's Ethan Sparks from Marco Holt from Henry McCartney on podium. That is brilliant, and that changes things in the championship as well, because Ronnie HARRIS, who was leading the championship, has come away from race 1 with nothing. Ethan Sparks will retake the championship lead with a new lap record as well. What a race we've just seen, Minnie.
Yeah, that was a great race, and everyone did really well.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Fantastic stuff. And Ethan Sparks pulling a bit of acrobatics on the bike there. And of course, your reigning champion from last year. You can see, even though he's already a champion, how much it means to him only here this year, because he's too young to go to British Talent Cup. Ethan Sparks takes a brilliant victory by 1.5 tenths of a second. Marco Holt managed to hold on to P2 after taking the lead at turn 1. Then it's Henry McCartney rounding out the podium. Ruben BRAY comes home in P4 with Joshua Williams in P5. Samuel MUNSON was P6 with Noah GUILLERY, or Ollie SIMS rather, in P7. Noah GUILLERY's here, and Harry PAINE, a fantastic performance on his return to motorcycle racing after his big accident in the P9. Absolutely amazing stuff from him. And then Hayden WIGHTMAN was P10. And unfortunately, we lost Luke FITCHETT, Blake Wilson, Ronnie HARRIS, and Wilson DILKS during that race. So great stuff. Thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, Minnie. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I'm sure that everyone at home loved having along as well. And your interesting story, but that was the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. And well, what a race that we've just seen. And well, we had a brilliant race 1, didn't we, Lewis? Super close from all of the top 5, neck and neck. We've seen accidents, we've seen drama, and well, I'm sure that race 2 is going to present an amazing show once again.
Yeah, I mean, race 1, it was something else. It had everything you want, and I believe it's going to be a race that we're going to look back on for rounds to come. The championship leader, Ronnie HARRIS, crashing out of the race. It's everything that everything in the race happened in that one race. It was close battles. There was crashes. There was technical issues. There was every single type of drama you could ever ask for in a race, and it was a close battle. And it's close talent. I mean, all these riders on this LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship grid, they're all so fast, and it's great that the Michael Laverty Visiontrack Racing Team Academy has came in and gave these riders help and support, as you can see by the awnings in the background, and the bikes all stickered up in the Visiontrack colours. They're giving these riders stepping stones to the World Championship, which is so great to see for these young British riders.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Ronnie HARRIS and Ethan Sparks, the two Visiontrack riders in this 70s field. And well, the two championship favourites would seem at the moment, of course, Ethan Sparks, reigning champion from last year, only sent around because he's not actually old enough to go into the British Talent Cup yet. Ronnie HARRIS, seemingly a changed man this season. Last year, he finished in 4th, was a good season overall, but no, really, major results. And this year, out of the gates with a bang, and was the championship, of course, until race 1 yesterday, when he actually high-sided coming into the back end of the track. The rear of the bike just gripping up and throwing him over, and he collected, I believe it was Ruben BRAY collected with him as well. It was a bit of battered and bruised, bit of a sore hand. We were speaking to him earlier, but he's confident coming into the day, and he wants to make amends. He wants to get a good result today. But again, yesterday, until that accident, it was a 5-way fight for the lead. Following that accident, it was a 3-way fight for the lead, and it was very, very close action throughout.
Yeah, it certainly is. And let's have a look at the grid with Henry McCARTNEY starting in pole position, with Ethan Sparks in 2nd place, Ruben BRAY starting in 3rd, and Marco Holt running at the 2nd row starting in 4th, Ronnie HARRIS 5th, Blake Wilson 6th, Wilson DILKS in 7th, Joshua Williams just been out in Spain, I believe won 2 races out there, so it's great to see him returning in 8th, Samuel Munson in 9th, Luke Fitchett starting in 10th, who we've just seen once again doing some amazing defending in the Mini GP50s. Ollie SIMS was starting in 11th with Harry PAINE, of course, had that big crash last round. It was great to see him back for this round, and he's so brave to be back, to be honest. And Noah GUILLERY starting in 13th, who've just had an accident in the Extreme 200s, 2 crashes actually, so hopefully he'll be out to start the race. I don't currently see him. And Hayden WIGHTMAN in his first weekend in the Mini GP70 starting in 14th position, so it's great to see so many new riders, new faces seeing the championship. Even Hayden WIGHTMAN, I believe he watched the Lord of Lidden race and decided, I want to do this, and now here he is on the grid at FAB. So it's great to see that this series is so inspirational, and you can be too. Get yourself involved, go on FAB-Racing social media, find out how to get involved as all the riders are making their final checks, looking at the lights, getting ready just to get the revs riding as the nerves are starting to rise for this Mini GP70 race. This is the Premier class. Here we go. All riders look up to the lights. The lights are on and lights are out, and we go racing. Ethan Sparks makes a great start, but will he lead into turn 1? No, he won't. Yes, he will. Henry McCARTNEY trying a slightly wider line there, but Marco Holt is on his tail in 3rd place, but he's making a move, diving up the inside, but he cannot make it work. Marco Holt staying in 3rd place, but it's Ethan Sparks who leads the way. Yesterday, this was such a close race. Can we see it again? It's looking like it.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark Holt. We know he loves this track, and he slid up into 1st place yesterday, slid into 3rd today, looking to get in 2nd, but it is Ethan Sparks that leads the way from there goes Mark Holt looking to the inside. Can he get through? No, yes he does. So Mark Holt manages to slide through up into 2nd place. Great stuff there from Marco Holt to get past Henry McCARTNEY, and he goes up into 2nd place. Of course, he's dominated both races here in the Mini GP50s, but it's Ethan Sparks leading from Holt in the 70s so far. The reigning champion Ethan Sparks gets away, and of course we saw a lap record in this yesterday. It was Ethan Sparks gets the lap record. Let's see if he can set another one, because now he's got a clear track early on. Let's see, but there's Bassels further behind as well. Blake Wilson managed to get up into P3 as well. Ronnie HARRIS now in P4. He'll be looking to move forward to make up to yesterday's disappointment. Henry McCARTNEY dropping down to P5, unfortunately for him. That's not the best of starts. I'm sure that he'll be looking to set his sights forward, but it is Ethan Sparks on that number 62, your reigning LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British champion, who is leading this race. But Mark Holt, he's on his tail, and we know he absolutely adores this track. He's been absolutely on it in the 50s. Let's see if he can sneak forward in the 70s as well.
Yeah, Marco Holt, such an aggressive move in that first lap, dropping Henry McCARTNEY to 5th place as he just couldn't get on the throttle and couldn't get that drive after getting forced to take such a wide and then through to the flip-flop, such a tight line, which just meant he got a terrible drive. But we're already in the 47s with a 47.9, just 1/10 off the lap record on the 2nd lap of the race. Ethan Sparks is absolutely on it. Even Marco Holt in the 47.9. There's nothing separating them. Marco Holt just trying to keep tabs on Ethan Sparks, because Ethan Sparks, of course, is last year's champion, and he's trying to make it the first ever Mini GP70 two-time champion, which would be an incredible result for the Visiontrack riders. Blake Wilson, of course, in a great place right now, in 3rd place. He'll be absolutely delighted to come home in that. but there's still 10 laps to go. There's still so much to be decided. Ronnie Harris in 4th place, so he has some tough competition. You can see it there, just a train of riders. Ronnie Harris and Henry McCartney just behind Blake Wilson, trying to get this 3rd place, and there's nothing separating them. There's battles all the way down. No matter what position you're in this race, you're almost guaranteed to get a battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, Sparks has a
new lap record.
That is a new lap record, ever so slightly a new lap record, but it's 47.826 from Ethan Sparks. Sets his own new lap record. The one that he beat his also own lap record from yesterday in race 1. So Sparks already flying along as we're seeing a battle further back. Ronnie Harris on Blake Wilson trying to get up into P3. Ronnie Harris has got a really classical riding style, really, a lot of riders you see nowadays get super low to the ground. He's just very cool, gets his knee down it perfectly, stays pretty upright body position wise, but it works. He's super fast, was leading the championship. Marco Holt now a new lap record of 47.3 for Marco Holt. That is 5/10 off of Sparks' time. That is rapid, and Marco Holt, out of absolute nowhere, is on the rear of the race theatre. He is turning it on out of nowhere, and here is Marco Holt. He's dominated in the 50s, and now he's looking to dominate in the 17 as well. What a lap from the man in P2.
Yeah, you could just see it, that lap. He was just getting closer and closer, and as he came around the last corner, I did think Marco Holt is on some lap here. He's on his back wheel. He's looking for any way past just 8 laps to go. Marco Holt, a 47.3. That is so fast. And Ethan Sparks, he will not know just yet that Marco Holt is on his tail. He'll need to have a little look behind him, or he could potentially be able to hear him, because Marco Holt's practically close to his lap wheel, and he looked like he wanted to take a little inside peek there, but Ethan Sparks cuts him off, and Marco Holt looks to be in control of this race right now. He looks to have the pace, and both riders there, a 47.7. They're both doing identical lap times now, and there's confirmation of that incredible lap from Marco Holt.
5/10 off. That is ridiculous from Marco Holt, and he's pushing Ethan Sparks along almost. He is all over the back of him. He just needs to make the gap through. He's looking. I thought they were actually going to touch coming around last corner, but they were that close, and Marco Holt is all over the rear wheel of Ethan Sparks. 7 laps to go. Oh boy, we've got a race in our hands now, don't we? It's Sparks from Holt in P1 and 2-2. The gap was a 1/10 of a second at the line last time. It's a little bit bigger. That could be because Holt is trying to line up a move coming into turn 1. He gets a really good run coming out of the final corner. Can he make the gap through? I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. No, he doesn't. Gap's a little bit bigger. It's 2/10 this time, so Sparks still leading, but 6 laps to go. Further back as well, Wilson, Harris, McCartney, they're still all fighting as well, but they've faded away from the battle for the lead. It's all about these two to win this race. We've got reigning champion Sparks against 50s vice champion and championship leader Marco Holt. This is a battle for the ages already, and I can tell this is going to go one way or the other, and it is so close. Look at Marco Holt, just nothing but separating between the pair of them, and Sparks still leading, but Marco Holt, well, it's so close between them. He seems to have the pace at the moment, but Sparks just putting the bike exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, and the battle for 3rd place is still racing on as well. Blake Wilson still in 3rd place, but Ronnie Harris, who of course crashed out yesterday, wants him past, but he cannot find any way past. Henry McCartney slightly. Oh, and Marco Holt is down in the first corner. He is down. He's pushing so hard, and he's absolutely distraught with that. But they were just pushing so hard. I mean, you set 47.3s, and eventually the bike bites you, and the bike is damaged there. Marco Holt, he is so upset with that. He knew a race win was on the cards, and that bike has taken a beat, and you've seen it just hit off the ground as we cut to them, and Marco Holt is just, he's so upset, and you cannot blame him for
devastation for Marco Holt. I mean, he had so much pace, and I feel so sympathetic for him. I mean, they almost touched again coming out through the last corner. I'm not sure if he was just getting a bit impatient maybe under the helmet, because I think he was getting frustrated. He knew he had the pace, and that's going to be a very nice sight for Ethan Sparks to go through turn 1 and see his competitor sidelined and out of the race with 4 laps to go. Ethan Sparks, all he's got to do now is cruise on home, and he will, as Blake Wilson manages to slide up into P2 as a result of Marco Holt now dropping down the order. And all of the riders, to be fair, setting very competitive lap times now. Ethan Sparks is now, they're all lapping, pretty quickly, but, Marco Holt just had such pace on board that 58 machine, and that is a big shame. And, we've been robbed of a fantastic battle as well, which is not a shame, but that is motorsport.
Yeah, and here is the battle for 2nd place. Now that it's going to mean it matters even more for these championship points. Ronnie Harris is trying to gain back some championship points that he lost yesterday from his mistake. But it's just 3 laps to go in this race. Blake Wilson still in second place. He'll be buzzing with that result. I mean, he's looking so great. It's the best I've actually seen him ride. And Henry McCartney's still there. Obviously started in pole position, so maybe not where he wants to be in 4th place, but the race is not over just yet. Ethan Sparks is still up front by 4.8 seconds now, so it looks like he is up the road and in complete control of the race. He will have seen Marco on the side of the tyre barrier there, and know that he is clear home if he can just stay on the bike. And there's Henry McCartney, best lap of 48.1. that is still incredibly fast. All these riders are so fast, 5.4 seconds off the lead, so it does not look like there's a chance for him to win the race, but there's a high chance that he can still get second place. I mean, these free rider train has been going on for almost the whole race now, and Blake Wilson has been leading the way almost since lap 1 with his train, and that lap round he set his best lap of his race with 48.2, so he's still pushing as hard as he can. And Ronnie Harris also setting his fastest lap with a 48.1, so Ronnie Harris looks to have the pace right now, but he's just trying to find any way past, and he cannot find any way past Blake Wilson. He's been defending great all this race, and he's kept up this pressure. Ronnie Harris obviously leading the championship up till yesterday, and with a championship leader on your back, you may just feel the pressure and feel Ronnie Harris was trying to pile on the pressure as much as he can, but Blake Wilson is not giving in. Blake Wilson is keeping this cool, and there on your screen there you have the 78 of Joshua Williams, of course, having a great ride out in Spain as I mentioned. But we go into the last lap now. It's Ethan Sparks who leads the way by 4.4 seconds. It is in the bag if he can just keep on it. It looked to be a great race, but Marco Holt, he just made a slight mistake, and that happens sometimes in racing. He has nothing to be too upset about though, because he did do a 47.3. That is an incredible lap time. He will know he has the pace for the final race of the day. There's still one more race, but for this race, all eyes are on Sparks in his last lap. He's dominated it from lap 1. He kept up the pressure from Marco Holt. He made Marco Holt crack, and it's Ethan Sparks who comes round the final 3 corners out the hairpin to the left, then to the right, round the last corner, and he will be absolutely buzzing with that checker flag. Will be waving, and he is waving to the crowd. He is so happy. Ethan Sparks will be so proud of that win, and it's Blake Wilson who comes home in second place and Ronnie Harris in third, and we see Ethan Sparks with some sportsmanship checking that Marco Holt is okay. You love to see that. I mean, Marco Holt, he was so distraught with that, but it is great to see such friendship from this. There's a couple of riders also stop and just see if Holt is okay, because that was such a big accident from him. And there you see it, Henry McCartney also checking they're all right. A little handshake. It's great to see. This is what FAB is all about. Such friendship, such commitment, and such fast riders.
It is, as we get some acrobatics from Ethan Sparks there. Delighted with that victory. Of course, that means he extends his championship lead, pulls a little wheelie as well, but that, that is a fantastic sight to see. Obviously enemies on the track, nothing separating them, but then the second the checkered flag falls, friends once again. What a great race we've been treated to. Race 2 of the Mini GP70s, but don't worry, we've still got another race to come. We've still got chance for Marco Holt to get back out there and show Ethan Sparks what he can do. Will he be able to challenge in race 3 of the LS2 Helmets British Mini GP70s Championship? We'll have to wait and see. Still another race yet to come, and there is Marco Holt. Devastating, yet that is what happens sometimes. Ethan Sparks manages to take the win from Blake Wilson in P2. Ronnie Harris finishes in P3. Henry McCartney was 4th with Ruben BRAY in P5. Joshua Williams is P6. Samuel MUNSON in 7th. Wilson DILKS in P8. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Luke FITCHETT and Ollie SIMS here at the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. What a shame for Marco Holt, but don't worry, there's still race 3 to come for him to fight back.
Racing.
It's race 3 in round 3 for the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship, and we've had a couple of absolute scorches already so far. But race 3, it's the one that everybody wants to win. It's the one where everything has turned up to 11. We've had five-way fights for the lead. We've had 3-way fights for the lead. We've had lap records being absolutely shattered, and we're about to go again, Lewis.
Yeah, we are, and we've seen a lot of different type of races. Race 1, it was almost carnage. It had absolutely everything. It had bike failures, it had crashes, it had close battles. Race 2, it was a lot more calm, but it still brought a lot of drama. It was close, fierce race, and there's so many riders that can win this race, and there's already some drama before we've got on the warm-up lap. I believe that's a rider just trying to get the bike started. Maybe it's Samuel Munson, maybe?
Potentially. Well, we'll have to wait and see what's happened, but hopefully everyone is okay.
Yeah, Samuel Munson.
Yeah, that's hopefully everyone's okay, but all coming out of the dummy grid now. And well, as you said, the 2 races we've had so far, they've had absolutely everything, and we've had some brilliant 50 races. All the mini GP racing this weekend has been absolutely superb. But now, well, it's time for the one we've all been waiting for. It's time as the final rider, Ronnie HARRIS, makes his way onto the grid from the dummy grid. This is the one that we've all been waiting for. These are the names that will be looking to make their way and be the stars of motorcycle racing in tomorrow, and this is the one that they want to win. This is race 3. This is it, frankly, as far as the FAB-Racing weekend is concerned. Poleman Henry McCARTNEY, a brilliant lap to secure the pole position, but of course he's not had the best of luck come race day. Can he finally secure what he feels like he deserves with a win? Of course, Marco HOLT as well in race 2. A lap record shattered by 5/10. Can he finally get ahead and get onto that podium place? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some great racing. Henry McCartney, as you mentioned, starting in pole position. Not the best weekend so far. I mean, it's mainly from the first lap. He's not been getting the best first lap, and he's just been getting pushed down the order. But yeah, he does start in pole position with Ethan Sparks alongside him. Ruben BRAY will be starting in 3rd, with Marco HOLT will be starting in 4th, Ronnie HARRIS in 5th, and Blake Wilson in 6th. Wilson DILKS in 7th place, with Joshua Williams, as mentioned before. He's been having some great success out in Spain. We'll be starting in 8th. Samuel Munson, as we've seen, had a slight issue on that grid, but will start a race in 9th. Luke FITCHETT 10th, Ollie SIMS 11th, Harry PAINE 12th, Noah GUILLERY, who I believe will not be starting a race in 13th, and Hayden WIGHTMAN will be running off the grid in the bright pink 84 bike. It will be starting in 14th and running off the grid. And we're expecting to see what is going to be an amazing race. I mean, there's been so much drama, even in between the races. It's going to be crazy, and there's no... Yeah, I'm almost lost for words going into this race. Oh, absolutely. Marco HOLT taking a very, very slow formation up there. He is getting in the zone. He's shattered the lap record set by Ethan Sparks in lap 1 by 5/10 of a second. This is it. This is the one we've all been waiting for. Green flag goes up at the back of the grid. Flag marshal out the way. These are the crucial moments. The red lights, they come on. It's red lights off. Oh, and up into the air. Marco HOLT gets it. Oh, this also was a too good of a start there. He falls massively back in Sparks. Shoots away into the lead. Marco HOLT, though, a disastrous start at the front of the bike, just popping well up into the air. He's got a huge job ahead of him now. But it is Ethan Sparks that leads this way. Henry McCartney's managed to hold on for P2. Who's that diving up the inside? Is that Ruben BRAY? Look for a way through. That is brilliant stuff there from him. But no, so it's Blake Wilson. So Blake Wilson sliding through into P2. So it's Sparks from Wilson, from Ronnie, I believe it's McCartney now in P3. So it's all drama here. Marco HOLT, the man we're expecting to be challenging for this victory, has got a disastrous start. Oh, and he's running wide. I think he might have a problem. Yeah, Marco HOLT, that is not starting what he did. He looks like he may have some sort of an issue, but the leaders head on. It's Ethan Sparks who leads the way. Ethan Sparks wanting this race win. He wants to win this race, but Blake Wilson is keeping him honest. Blake Wilson is right behind him and setting the fastest lap of the race that time around. Blake Wilson got a 2nd place last time out, and he's looking like he's brought all that confidence. Is looking to dive up the inside there with Ethan Sparks, but he cannot make it stick. It's such a tight corner. But Marco HOLT had a disastrous start. Bike popped up into the air, and last race it didn't go his way either. He aired it, although he got the fastest lap. He crashed out the race and then watched out the pit, watched out a commentary box window the whole time, and he's been fixing him and his dad and some other friends have been fixing the bike religiously, and they managed to get it working, and sadly it just doesn't look like it wanted to work right on that first lap, and he just didn't make it start and maybe got slightly flustered. But I mean, that bike, there was hammers out, there was chisels out, there was screwdrivers, there was everything to get that bike fixed, and luckily he's lucky to get it on track, and now he's trying to make up some positions, try to score some valuable championship points, just like Ethan Sparks is wanting to do, as he sets a 48.5.
It's important to note that Blake Wilson managing to maintain that pace in P2. He's also setting 40, but where was Blake Wilson in race 1 and race 2? Where's this come from? Absolutely out of nowhere, and he is sticking all over the back of the reigning champion and the championship leader Ethan Sparks. Marco HOLT, whatever issue he's had, it seems to be solved, because he's now challenging at the back, trying to get through the back of the pack. So it seems that the issue came and went fairly quickly, but disastrous for him. That's a big shame. But of course, we've got to focus our eyes back at the front, and we've got to focus our eyes on Sparks against Wilson.
Yeah, Ethan Sparks leading the way just 8 laps to go. Blake Wilson, of course, in second race. He did get a second place, but it was quite a bit off the win. But Ethan Sparks set a 48.4, fastest lap of the race. But Blake Wilson also set a 48.4. Blake Wilson is on the back of him now, and it just seems that he's managing just to run the pace with following him. So now the real question is, does he have the pace to now try and overtake him, or is he just going to leave Ethan Sparks to do all the work and bridge a gap back to third and then make a move on the last lap? We're just going to have to wait and see and find out. Ronnie HARRIS in 4th place. Of course, going into the championship, he was going into this race weekend, he was leading the championship and looking like he was going to maintain his lead, but it all went wrong in race 1, and now he's all trying to make it right in race 3. This is the final race of the weekend for them. Blake Wilson is looking up the inside, but Ethan Sparks shuts the door in his front wheel. Ethan Sparks says, no, you're not going to pass there, but Blake Wilson is trying to find any way past. He sets a 48.1. That is an incredible lap time, just 3/10 off the lap record, but Ethan Sparks leads the way still. But it looks like Blake Wilson is going to be there and going to fight for this race when he has the pace.
Where has this Blake Wilson been all weekend long? Out of absolutely nowhere, Blake Wilson is matching the reigning champion, the championship leader, lap by lap, corner by corner. Behind them, Ruben BRAY and Ronnie HARRIS as well. Ronnie HARRIS, of course, after that high side in race 1, he'll be looking to make up for lost ground. He's lost the championship lead as a result of that to, I guess he's his teammate now. They're both on the Visiontrack team, Ethan Sparks and Ronnie HARRIS. He'll be wanting to gain that ground back. But Blake Wilson, where has he been all weekend? He's been he's been doing okay. Suddenly, he's matching Ethan Sparks. I don't know if he's just got behind him. He got a really good start, got behind him, has just been able to absorb where Sparks' lines are instantly. But it's absolutely brilliant. If you see there further back, BRAY and HARRIS battling. Joshua Williams might be looking to close in as well, because Ronnie HARRIS trying to make some moves up here, but unable to do so for the time being, and some battles further back as well. A bit of a flappy rear end of the bike there on one of the riders. Hopefully that's all okay, but focusing back further up in the battle for P3, BRAY is still ahead of Ronnie HARRIS, who cannot make that gap appear, unfortunately. He's pushing all that he can, but for now it's still going to be Ruben BRAY in front, and in front of them as well it's still going to be Ethan Sparks leading the way with 5 laps to go. It's a 48 dead, getting close to that lap record as well. Will we break it? I don't know, but Blake Wilson, it's now getting into crunch time. If he wants to make the move, he's running out of time.
Yeah, Ruben BRAY still in third, but under immense pressure there by Ronnie HARRIS, and Joshua Williams still in biting distance, just 5 laps to go. So if anything does go askew, he can dive up the inside and make some positions up and try to get on this podium on the weekend. First ever podium it would be. But all these riders, they want it. This is the Premier class. This is the last race of the weekend. This is the race that you will remember going into the next round, and it's Ethan Sparks who will be remembered right now, as he is leading the way. Fastest lap of the race and only a 3/10 gap. But Blake Wilson, he's surprised everyone, and I think he's going to surprise himself by in this race. A 48.2 that time around does Ethan Sparks. It's a 47.942. That is an incredible lap, just 1/10 off the lap record. He is trying absolutely everything. Can the lap record get shattered once again in the Mini GP70s?
Well, maybe. I think Blake Wilson, potentially that's all he has to offer. He's been lapping in the low 48s. He can't break in to the 47s. This is possibly Sparks' chance to break away at the front, and the gap is now starting to form. Half a second separating the leaders. We've got some action further back in the pack as well. In the bus for 6th, Samuel MUNSON leading Wilson DILKS. Just a little bit of a gap between them. But it's currently no overtake move is being arranged, but it is still pressure on the minds of these young riders. If they've got people following them, closely. As Sparks, action all through the pack. Sparks, not a great lap that time, but it wasn't a great lap for Wilson either. And potentially they might be coming up to some lap traffic fairly soon. So it could be now once again here at Ellough Park in the dying laps of a race, lap traffic could be having a massive, monumental even effect on the lead of the race. We'll have to wait and see. There is your race leader, Ethan Sparks, on that number 62 Visiontrack bike. Of course, this is his second season in this championship, reigning champion, but he's too young to go to British Talent Cup. And behind him, Blake Wilson having the race of his life.
Yeah, he is. Blake Wilson's giving it absolutely everything. You can just see Blake Wilson from his riding style that he was trying everything. But Ethan Sparks right now is looking quite composed. He's got a 7th gap. He may just have a little look behind him and try to see where Blake Wilson is. But Blake Wilson's still there in biting distance. But just 2 laps to go in this race. Ruben BRAY drops down to 4th place. Ronnie HARRIS has finally made that move. So it's a Visiontrack 1-3 right now. Visiontrack doing a great job at bringing these riders through. They have an opportunity after this. Visiontrack also have a team in the British Talent Cup. They've been doing highly successful. Got a 1-1 actually in a tied race at Ellough Park, which sounds crazy to say. And they have a system that leads these riders all the way up to Moto 3. So it starts here at FAB. This is where the stars are in the future. Ronnie HARRIS in your picture there, winning the championship going into this round. It all went wrong in race 1, but he's making it right. It's Ethan Sparks who's going to lead the way going into the last lap here, going round the final corner to head to the line. It's Blake Wilson though, who's still there. He's just 6/10ths away. One mistake from Ethan Sparks in his last lap. Blake Wilson will be there. Blake Wilson can make a move if there's one mistake. Can Ethan Sparks stay composed? He has won the championship before. He's trying to make it the first ever 2-time Mini GP70 champion. But he's used to this pressure. He's used to Blake well, he's not used to Blake Wilson, but he's used to someone being there in the last lap. He knows what he has to do, and that is be absolute perfect. He's on the final half of the lap. He's going through the chicane. He's going towards the hairpin, going as fast as he can. And then it flips over to the left. Just 2 corners left. He does that absolute perfect. Going to the final corner. He cracks open the throttle. He tucks in and he celebrates the race. Win for the final race of the weekend for the Mini GP70s. Blake Wilson comes home in 2nd. What an amazing ride. And Ronnie HARRIS comes home in 3rd. Finally overtaking Ruben BRAY, who comes home in 4th. Joshua Williams couldn't just make it up there to Ruben BRAY, finishing in 5th place. What a great race. It's exactly what we've seen all weekend, and what a great ride from Ethan Sparks.
Absolute perfection from Ethan Sparks this weekend. That was absolutely brilliant. He absorbed the pressure from Blake Wilson perfect. I mean, of course we know Ethan Sparks can absorb pressure. He was part of that championship, 3-way fight at Clandau last season, and he handled being sent off the bike in race 1 as well. If those of you watching then remember, of course, leading the championship into the finale, getting involved in a very controversial accident, being sent off the bike, no score in race 1, and he still went and won the championship. That is the quality of Ethan Sparks, and another race win. A brilliant weekend, a brilliant race, and a brilliant season so far for that young man on the Visiontrack Academy. Like, again, he's too young to go to the British Talent Cup. That is what is most unbelievable. All his competitors last year, Dave moved on, he's still here, and he's got that experience. And as you said, Lewis, looking to be the first ever FAB-Racing double LS2 helmets Mini GP70 British champion. Just to confirm for you there, Ethan Sparks, a brilliant result there for him, absorbing all the pressure from Blake Wilson to take the win. Ronnie HARRIS up to P3 in the end. He'd managed to get some championship points there, but Sparks still extending his new lead in the championship. Meanwhile, Ruben BRAY finishes P4. Good result for him as Joshua Williams is in P5. Wilson Dinks there in P6 with Samuel Munson in P7. Marco Holt there after those early problems. He managed to fight back to 8th, but a massive shame for him. I'm sure he would have been involved in that fight between the front 2 as well, with Luke FITCHETT and Ollie SIMS rounding out the top 10. What a selection of races that we've had there. What a selection of races that we've just seen there in the Mini GP70s. I mean, time and time again, they always deliver, but that was just absolutely superb.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, Marco Holt, not the ride that he wanted. I could see him just like commentary box. He's not happy with that result, but yeah, it was slightly off the time. He was doing 49s, which is still incredibly fast on these Mini GP70s, but it's not what we used to see, where we used to see Marco. Maybe the bike wasn't slightly feeling right, but that was a great race, and I'm sure we'll see it all again in round 4.